How do we solve the assisted living funding puzzle?
It's always such a hard decision to make. Like, do I cash out this? Do I liquidate this to fund this? How long am I going to be funding this? Am I going to be leaving family members in a tighter situation when I pass?
Assisted living impacts other people in the family. It's not just money, but it's also time. We're just sitting back and letting the checks come and paying the bills. And there's a nest egg still behind at the end of the day. So when you talk about legacy, you haven't eroded it. It's the most boring investment you'll ever have. But in a situation like this, how beautiful is boring? So Nick, whether I'm planning for my future or for the future of, say, my parents, how do we solve the assisted living funding puzzle? Meaning, how do we finance care for ourselves or our parents as they get older in a way that protects everybody's dignity and their legacy? I want to get into that tonight.
I have one anecdotal story. I mean, I'm nowhere near going to an assisted living facility, but I have one family member who, she's in the Lower Mainland in BC, and Burnaby had a nice run up, and she had a condo there, and she was just at that age where you don't want to keep doing everything yourself. So she cashed out, went to an assisted living facility, and the proceeds, she feels, will more than cover however long she needs the service for. And I always found that to be unfortunate. Like, you have to sort of, because she does have people in her will, right? She does have other family members, and she does want to leave. I don't know if you refer to it as a legacy, but like however you pass down your wealth and so on with family members. And it's always such a hard decision to make. Like, do I cash out this? Do I liquidate this to fund this? How long am I going to be funding this? Am I going to be leaving family members in a, bit of a tighter situation when I pass? Like, it's I guess a decision that doesn't really need to happen when you factor in the vehicles that are available.
Well, listen, when I think so, I remember I was younger, but I remember my grandparents, both on my father's side, both being in assisted living in one way or another prior to them passing. And the thing that resonates the most with me about this topic is that we have to remember that this assisted living impacts other people in the family, right? It's not just money, but it's also time. And so when I started thinking about this topic and how we approach it, I want to consider that not only is the solution we propose very good in terms of the money, like the ability to take a nest egg, leverage it, preserve it, but feed off it at the same time, right? So, you've got $1 million, you've got 6 or 7% return on that investment every year with consistency and predictability, and you're safe, and that's able to pay the assisted living. So in terms of dignity, you've got that person's hard work, their life of work, doing the work for them. So it's not imposing on family members and whatnot, who I'm sure are very happy to help, but still an imposition. It's still a burden. And then the other piece of this is that it's so passive. I mean, we joke about it all the time that I tell people it's the most boring investment you'll ever have, right? And it is. But in a situation like this, how beautiful is boring? I mean, now all the family has to do, and I think of myself. So if it was my parents, all I'm doing is essentially making the decisions for them from time to time about a mortgage coming back and another one going out, but largely we're just sitting back and letting the checks come and paying the bills.
Every month.
And there's a nest egg still behind at the end of the day. So when you talk about legacy, you haven't eroded it. Like, you think of, for example, a reverse mortgage.
Yes.
Right. To compare a reverse mortgage, you're going to have, listen, great vehicle for the right person. It serves a purpose, but you're going to, so you're going to have the dignity piece with a reverse mortgage, but the legacy piece is being eroded every month that that person remains alive. And so the private mortgage is a completely different beast that way. And again, with its flexibility in terms of yields and whatnot, if someone came to me and said, this money is being invested and it's responsible for paying the bill for assisted living for my 88-year-old mother, well, we're gonna put that into very specific types of mortgages, right? And
No seconds.
really, I mean, right? And even if it wasn't enough, if it didn't produce enough to pay 100% of the assisted living, I would then say to the family, look, this investment, all investments have risk. You have to, because of what the use of funds is, you have to take the least amount of risk possible and maximize yield at the same time. So you could put this into, say, a GIC or a bond or high interest savings account and make 3. I can give you security that feels equivalent. I mean, if somebody wanted to debate me on it, they could say, just by virtue of the fact that a GIC is a guarantee and this is not, there's more risk. You're not wrong. But what it would take to lose, I'm very comfortable with it. If it's my mother, right, that I'm putting that in. So I would stop them at a point and say, listen, this is not the example where you can go, well, I need to make 8 or 9 to pay the full bill.
Mm-hmm.
I would say to you, listen, take what you can get to pay as much of it as possible at the right security level, and then find a way to make up the rest, right? This is not the example to go, oh, well, you need more, just, go into seconds, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or,
yeah,
right. It's not that. So, you're looking at fixed income bracket, right? The fixed income bracket being the safest part of your portfolio. And you're trying to get 6 or 7 where most people would be getting 3 or 4, and no fees.
no fees.
Maybe the best part, right? No fees.
And the example I always circle back to, and I like that you said this in the GIC episode, was for 100% more yield, effectively double, are you taking on double the risk?
Not even close.
And that's just like that's when you sort of realize, like, okay, this is solid.
Yeah. And again, let's put that into perspective, right? Okay. So again, I know we've done this before. This example, though, resonates so well with people. So just look at it and go, okay, let's say at 6%, you're lending, well, let's say 7, just to be a little bit riskier. Okay. So 7%, you're lending maximum 70% of the value of a house. Okay. And at 4% in a GIC, well, 3.5 or whatnot, you're getting 3.5 or 4. Do you feel like if the bank had a mortgage on your house for 70% of its value, that the bank would be taking a tremendous amount of risk?
It's just not part of the conversation.
Further, if the bank came to you and said, what do you think I should do, Nick? Should I give you a mortgage for 70% of the value of your house at 7%, or should I invest my money in a GIC and get 3.5?
I'd be like, I'm paying this thing, so it's up to you.
Yeah, like there's no, you would feel like the bank has no risk. You'd probably say to yourself, my God, I have all the risk. Like if I don't pay, they're going to take the house and sell it, and they're going to get every penny back. But I'm going to have no more house. I'll get the difference, right? I'll get what's left over, but I won't have a house. That's how you're going to see it if you're on the other end. So there's no reason to see it any differently if you're in the lender's shoes, if you're in the bank's shoes. You look at it the exact same way. I mean, even if I said to you, if you borrowed 800,000 from the bank and the value was $1 million, would you feel the bank was at high risk? How would you feel? Like,
there's
some risk.
Some risk, I guess, but there's really in-depth mathematicians that's CMHC that came up with the 20% buffer, and that anything around anything at 20% or above did not require insurance. So
That's right. So as long as the bank is lending you 80% or less, they don't require insurance. That tells you a lot,
yeah,
right? Like
that's like
if the
the
bank goes,
cornerstone of our entire housing
"Ah,
situation.
we don't need insurance." If they say that, don't forget who pays mortgage insurance. This is very important. Mortgage insurance protects who?
The lender,
The bank. Yes. Who pays for it?
everyone else.
Yeah, the borrower. It's so
Well, the
funny. Like when
taxpayer,
you,
but yeah.
yeah, when you get no, but when you get life insurance, who does the life insurance protect?
You?
Yeah, who pays for it? You.
Yeah. Yeah,
In
yeah, yeah.
this case,
I see. Yeah.
the bank gets the protection, you pay for it. Now, for the bank to say, don't worry about it, we don't need that. When they don't have to pay for it and they're getting the protection, it tells you a lot
Yes.
about exactly what you said. Yes, they've done the math. They have spent millions and millions of dollars to work it all out, right? And they're safe there. So we live in that world. 50 to 80% loan to value on a sliding scale of rates, somewhere between 6 and 11. And depending on which position you're in, first, second. So yes, is there more risk as you move up? Sure. Is the highest part of the chain acceptable risk? I think so, especially when you consider what you're making.
Yeah, I never factored that in, like, because we just did the nest egg retirement episode, and for assisted living, you want even less risk than someone looking for retirement.
Yes. So you want to maximize returns with minimizing risk. Now that sounds like, of course, everybody wants that. No, but you really have to be literal about it when, again, this is a specific situation, a specific application of private mortgage investing to real world scenario. Okay. So again, if I'm advising a family, I'm going to be asking the same questions I normally do, but with a different slant. I'm going to say, listen, what is the nut, right? Like what is the monthly amount to pay for your mother's care?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Say,
well it's $5,000 a month. It's $5,000 a month. That's $60,000 a year. So we need to target. How much money do you have? How much does she have saved up? Oh, she's got $1 million. Okay, we need a 6% return. We're on easy street, right? We can get that. Now, if it's she's only got $500,000. Okay, she's only got $500,000. So there's lots of different things you can do. So do you want to go to 12%?
well, no,
No, that's
I
not an
imagine no.
option. It's not an option. Not that I don't believe in 12% mortgages and whatnot, but it's just not an option because of the specific application here. We're talking about uber secure. Okay, so what happens if you put it at 6%? Well, you get 30, right? So you get 30,000. Okay, not bad. Can we nibble that up a little bit? What if we went to 7%? So now we go to 7%, right? I think we're still really, really safe at 7%, but that's about as high as I might go in this type of application. So now you're 500,000, 7%, 35 grand. So you're 25,000 short. Okay. Anything from old age pension?
Hmm.
Okay. 10 grand a year. Okay. 45,000. Now you're 15 short. Okay. Anything from anywhere else? Well, no, but okay. Does the family want to kick in $1,000 a month? Family can kick in $1,000 a month. Here's the other thing that can happen. We can tolerate some erosion. So I've got 500,000. My investments in my old age pension are going to make up 45 of it. My son's going to kick in $500 a month. And now that we're up to 52,000, and $8,000 a year is going to come from my 500. Right. So every year the nest egg is going to drop just a little bit. There's going to be some impact to that, but we're talking about somebody who's late in their 80s, right? Something like that. I'm not, we have to have all the variables. So I'm not suggesting this is the fix all. What I'm saying is there's lots of ways to skin the cat.
Yeah, you can
Right?
compromise on amenities,
Yeah, we can try to get, we might, again, you've heard me talk about this before. We might look at it and go, well, what if we had, 400 of it in 6% stuff or 7%, but we had 100 at 9. Okay. Now we just made up an extra, 4 or 5,000. So you're just nibbling your way there. And it's what's so nice about the private lending space is how flexible it is when it comes to this type of planning. And it's simple, right? You're not trying to balance a million different vehicles or volatility of the market, some unsecured more investments, some secured, some fixed income, some variable income. You don't have to do any of that. Right in this one space, if you understand the relationship between risk and return, and you can do simple math, you can tailor make a plan for you, for your wife, for your mother, for your father, for anybody you love, right? You can do this. You don't need a degree. You don't need, you don't need any kind of specialized training. It's very simple, basic math because you're talking about an investment that pays a fixed return, is secured by unbelievable collateral, and if done right, delivers consistently and predictability to the point of sheer boredom.
Man, sold. But
that's where you go.
Yeah. The consistent return, the month to month paycheck is just,
you can't beat it. You can't beat it. In fact, I can make such a great case. You've heard me make a case before for somebody young who does this. And if you do it, what you have on your side when you start young is you have time on your side. Like the accumulation of fixed income year after year after year after year is massive. Okay. So the impact of that is massive. But now shift it to the other end of the spectrum where you didn't even find out, you did all the things right. You paid your house off and all that, but you didn't even find out about private lending until you were 60. Well, it's great because the application of it post 60 has nothing to do with wealth building. It has to do with preservation of capital and production, right? So you have a production goal. I need my nest egg now to work for me, and I need it to get paid this salary, right? How do I do that? Fixed income. Problem with fixed income, pays too little. GICs, bonds, they're super, super safe. But you look at what we do, and you go, wow, I can get basically twice the yield, as you said, sometimes more. For risk that when I look at it, I go, I'm okay with this. Like,
yeah, no,
I'm okay with it.
It was always that when I thought about that family member who sold her condo to then fund her assisted living, it's like, why does it have to be one or the other? There's got to be a way to not erode this thing.
Leverage.
Yeah.
But smart leverage without greed. It's based on math, not emotion, right? And it's boring.
Zero volatility.
Yeah. Well, I mean, can you have volatility creep in certain markets and whatnot? Sure you can, but not where we're talking. Not like, you're not going to lose any sleep at night worrying about this. You may occasionally have that like itch that this is so boring. Like I almost want to do something different just because, but you can go to a casino for that.
Yeah.
In 1 hour, you can get it all out, right? And still get a payment next month to pay your assisted living costs for your mom.
No, this is a great application for the space.
Yeah, really good. Okay, that's it.
All right.
Till next time. Happy lending.
Happy lending.